I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with an amazing writer. Her name is Amelia Heart. What began with a mere pen, paper, and a vision blossomed into her vivid tapestry of poems. The collection is called Rambling from a Creative Mind. It reflects the myriad of emotions of the human experience, drawing from her personal life and weaving mostly fictional tales. The author verses echo the true essence of feeling, serving as a poignant reminder that embracing our emotions sets us free. We're delighted to have this very talented poet and writer join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel. Amelia, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Love your book, Rambling from a Creative Mind. Are these works you collected over the years and decided to compile together, or works you specifically wrote for this book?
It was kind of a collection of experiences over the years, and like I said, what started as just a pen and a paper kind of blossomed into a book.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Is there a favorite part of the book, favorite poem?
I would have to say the one that was inspired by my grandma. Unfortunately, she's since passed away, but the one that's dedicated to her was the Heart of a True Warrior. That has to be my favorite one of that.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, very inspiring. What made you decide to pursue poetry?
Well, I've always felt that writing was a natural outlet for me. And as I would just write, put the pen to paper, I started forming little stories. And then those stories turned into little poems of inspiration. And I thought, well, what better way to not only inspire myself, but inspire others? And that's kind of how the book came to be.
Absolutely, that's great. And the book is a blend of your own personal experiences and fictional narratives as well. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I believe that any human emotion can be expressed, and as long as you're expressing whatever emotion that is in a healthy outlet way, for me that's writing. I believe that I can also inspire others who may be struggling with emotions, just to let them know that they're not alone in their struggles. And sometimes just hearing it from another person is all the push that they need to keep going.
Absolutely. And allowing oneself to feel leads to a sense of freedom, don't you think? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, pain shared is pain lessened is one of the things that I've learned through the course of my life experiences. And what better way to share those things than to either speak about them or write about them? And for me, like I said, that's been a very natural outlet for me. And as long as you're not carrying that inside, you get it out in some form of creative outlet, whether it's writing, painting, singing, all of those things, just to get it out so you're not carrying those things. It really does lighten you.
Absolutely. Now, your book seems to emphasize the importance of never giving up on your dreams. Share a moment with us when you were close to giving up and how you overcame it.
Well, fresh out of high school, I always wanted to be a physical therapist or a physical therapist assistant. After a soccer injury, I felt to give back that uh, functionality to people to make them feel better. Uh, and after high school, there was a wait list. I didn't want to wait, so I pursued a different avenue. I have since over the years gone back to school, which I am currently enrolled right now for a physical therapist assistant. Hasn't been easy, but there were times where I'm like, why am I putting myself through this? But at the same time, I'm like, this is what I really want to do. This is my passion. So I think if you find what you're passionate about, it's a lot easier to pursue those things and not give up.
Absolutely. And coming back to your dream, some people have to give up their dream for one reason or another. But if you keep on coming back to it, that's that's the key,
Exactly.
because we all face obstacles that keep us from, it's not a straight path. It's a jagged line, if you will.
Yes.
Have you written anything else? Are you working on anything else?
Actually, yeah, I had started a collection towards the second book, and then I just kind of stopped. And recently just revisited that avenue, and I have since written two new poems in the last couple weeks. So there's hintings for more books.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are you going to move beyond poetry at any point, or that's your genre that you really enjoy?
Poetry is something that I really enjoy. However, I do feel that there is a autobiography in the works somewhere.
Mm.
So I'd like to definitely explore that avenue in the future.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And what do you hope readers take away from your book, Rambling from a Creative Mind?
Just that there is hope. There's always faith. And even when it seems like you've hit your rock bottom or there's all the darkness around you, just remember that seeds are planted in the dark in
Mhm.
order to grow. So if it feels like you're in the dark and you're surrounded and there's nowhere else to go, it's not that you're at the end. It's maybe that you've been planted and you're getting ready to grow. So just not to give up.
Great advice and great sentiment for sure. When do you write? Whenever the feeling moves you? Do you have a set time of day? Tell us a little bit about your process.
Actually, I call it my poem factory. It's kind of like a rock tumbler. There's ideas tumbling around in there, and then I'm like, I have to start writing this down, and then it comes out on paper. So I do carry a journal and a pen with me at all times, just because sometimes the way the things are worded and the way they come out and the way they're formulated, you only get that one chance at it.
True.
So for me personally, if I don't write it down, it's going to be gone. So I do carry those things with me at all times.
What inspires you?
What inspires me is life, actually. And the person that inspires me the most is my grandma. Um, and I always have a good sense that she's with me all the time. She was one that was a huge advocate on me, always pursuing my dreams, never giving up. And, just when I felt like I was at that point where I wanted to give up, she was always there with a smile and an encouraging word.
Wonderful. It's wonderful you had her in your life. It's wonderful that you've been able to memorialize her in this book. So
Yes,
people who never met her will get to know her, which is
exactly.
wonderful. How about nature? Does that give you inspiration? You live in a beautiful area. You live in one of the prettiest states. I recently drove across country. Wisconsin was, wow, what a pretty state. I never knew this. Is one of the most beautiful states in the nation. So tell me a little bit about nature inspiring you. Do you get out there maybe to do hikes or something to get in touch with yourself and get in touch with nature?
Yeah, I do. Actually, we have a family cabin that's up near Lakewood and Townsend area, and there's a lake, Bass Lake, if anybody's familiar with that area. That is my absolute favorite place to go, especially around sunset. I've gotten some beautiful pictures there. And water is of the all the elements of nature. Water is my grounding area, my safe space. That's where I go if I'm feeling like I really just need to reset. I will find a big source of water and just like sit there and breathe and listen to nature, the birds. And depending on the season, fall, we're coming into fall, is a beautiful time of year around here.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Now, is the cabin usable all 4 seasons or deep winter you can't get there?
It is usable all 4 seasons. We have an amazing man that makes sure that the driveway's plowed because they do get an exuberant amount of snow up there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So as long as I can get into the cabin, it is usable all year round. We have the heat and central air when it's working. So
Very nice. Very nice. That must be great. Yeah, I drove through Wisconsin in May and it was still kind of crisp in May. In
yep.
fact, the more north we got, I think we actually started seeing some snow flurries here and there. So
Hmm.
I figured January and February might be rough at that cabin. So I'm glad you've got it plowed. Well,
Yes.
this is a great, great book. Before we leave you today, anything you'd like the folks at home to know about you or know about Rambling from a Creative Mind?
Well, I guess from my personal experience, like I said, you really need to find something that you're passionate about. And if things feel like they're overwhelming, just reach out. There's always either someone or something that you can do to alleviate the stresses of your life. And what I really hope people take from this book is that they are not alone, and it's okay to feel those feelings, but you don't have to stay there. You know, grief is a really funny animal. It's like riding a roller coaster or a wave pool. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not.
Hmm.
But to just feel those feelings and allow them to come in, but then let them flow out as well. Don't stay stuck there.
Great advice. The name of the book is Rambling from a Creative Mind. It reflects a myriad of human emotions, drawing from the author's own personal experience and fictional tales as well. Amelia, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.